Welcome to the platform where the stories weigh a ton. This is where some of the MHSPLA's best tell real stories about what it takes to build themselves and their programs under the bar. I'm your co-host, Chris Whitaker, and I'm coming to you live to record from beautiful Alpena, Michigan. Hopefully you all are enjoying the MHSAA Dead Week this week, getting away, getting a chance to recharge your batteries a little bit. But before we get to this week's episode, part one of two parts that'll be released this week, please, if you're enjoying the show, give us a follow on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, like, share. All those things really help to build more traction for the show, bring more people to it, and allow us to bring the conversations that you want to hear to the platform. Give us feedback or suggest a topic at info@mhspla.com. We'll get back with you, and we'll either get your topic into the wheel of rotation here or get an interview set up for you in the future. Today's episode is going to be episode 11, featuring one of the founders of the MHSPLA, Coach Tim Furno. During this part one by Coach Furno talks about how he built Millington into the state's premier powerlifting program with 7 state titles and 26 national champions. He takes us back to his roots in Meadville, Pennsylvania, where a YMCA iron worker paid him to lift in his first team meet at the age of 16. He also talks about York Barbell and his run at Northern Michigan, alongside many famous names that you've heard of. And the day that, he had a bench press challenge on the stage at Millington. He's had Olympic caliber athletes, and it's Coach Furno is a great conversation, and hopefully you enjoy part one with him. Part two will be released on Thursday of this week as we record this, and enjoy part one with Coach Tim Furno. The bar is loaded. Lock in. Episode 11. Hit the intro music.
Welcome to the platform where the stories weigh a ton. Squat, bench, dead, we rise as one. Michigan's lifters, this is our home. Turn it up, feel that foam. This is the platform.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The bar is loaded yet again for another episode of The Platform, your Michigan High School Powerlifting Association podcast, where the stories weigh a ton. I'm Chris Whitaker, your co-host for this show. I'm here with Coach Chris Gillum, as always, my partner in crime, the executive director of the Michigan High School Powerlifting Association Board. Coach Gillum, good to see you again.
Yeah, always good to see you and to have this podcast. So talk to a lot of new people and interesting stories, and we have some today.
And we got a good one today, Coach Gillum. And you're going to talk all about this man and introduce him, but I just got to meet him a few minutes ago, and I'm already fired up to talk to him. But this is Coach Tim Furno. And Coach Gillum, tell us all about Coach Furno, please.
Our guest today is a man with many accolades. He was a power lifter himself in high school. He played football and wrestled at Northern Michigan University in Marquette, Michigan. He started a weightlifting program at Millington when he was an assistant coach in 1974. Once he became the head football coach in 1978, his weightlifting program grew and developed into the premier powerlifting program in the state of Michigan. He was a pioneer for the Michigan High School Powerlifting Association. His teams won 7 Michigan State powerlifting championships from 78 to 90. He also coached 2 teams to a national drug-free high school powerlifting championship in 1987 and 1989. In the same time period, Coach, he had 26 individual national champions. 11 of those individuals were females. Our guest is a Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame member, a member of the Northern Michigan University Hall of Fame, a Millington Athletics Hall of Fame member, and he has the distinct honor of having the football field at Millington High School named after him. Let's welcome Tim Furno.
Coach Furno. We got new sound effects buttons, Coach. Welcome.
Yes.
Well, before I get started, I'm going to talk about Chris Gillum. Coach at Birch Run. He beat me at times. I didn't like it, but I accepted it because he was a gentleman. He was the best coach that Birch Run ever had.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And he was a force in the Tri-Valley, which is a very, very competitive league. One time we had 5 teams go to the playoffs in the Tri-Valley, and he was one. And I was fortunate to be one also. So, Chris Gillum, you had your show in high school football.
Yeah.
You're a great coach.
Thank you.
And I congratulate you.
Thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate it.
Well, you deserve it.
All right. Thank you.
So we're going to get right into talking about you here, Coach. And we talked a little bit about this off air before we pressed record here. But you're from Meadville, PA. Did I pronounce that town correctly?
That's the Meadville Bulldogs. Get it straight.
The Meadville Bulldogs in
That's
Meadville,
right.
Pennsylvania. What was it like growing up in their area? And how did you get started in weightlifting and powerlifting?
Well, I came from a very poor family. We didn't have much. I was a Y rat. I hung out at the YMCA. And I was either going to be a leader of a gang or captain of a football team. Oh yeah. So I got in a little bit of trouble, nothing serious, but I decided to turn a corner and be an athlete. And I played football at Meadville High School. I was all state, and I was an all state wrestler. And that got me into college and a scholarship. But going back to my early days, I wouldn't have done anything without weightlifting because I was a small, skinny kid, scrawny, and picked on or whatever. But anyway, in 1964, I was hanging out at the Y, and this big guy who always wanted me to lift weights. He said, "Get over here and try this." No, I don't like weightlifting. It's too much like work. Leave me alone. And he goes, "Well, look." He was the business agent of the ironworkers. That means he was the head of all these people. This is erecting steel, skyscrapers. And he goes, "You work?" I goes, "Yeah, I make $1 an hour." He goes, "What if you made $14.65 an hour?" I said, "I'm 16. I can't join a union." He goes, "You're going to work on white paper, and we're going to get you in." I paid to work. Not much, but I paid. I made a lot of money working iron, and I didn't mind going up in the buildings. But he was a weightlifter, and he formed a team in the Meadville YMCA, and he wanted me to belong. I goes, "Well, I'm just a scrawny kid." He goes, "Yeah, but you." He wheeled me in the room one day, and I squatted 350 pounds, but I could only bench like 180. And he goes, "You're going to be okay. Just train." I guess, "Okay, as long as I get paid that money to work, I'll train." So that was the deal. That was how it all got started. And I entered my first meet at 16 years old at the Golden Triangle Y in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I think I benched around 230, and everybody else benched around 350. And I only lifted against men. I never lifted against another teenager because nobody lifted weights in 1964. In high school, there were no weight rooms. No one knew anything about it. The high school coaches go, well, if you lift weights, you're going to be muscle bound. You won't be able to run or move. And I guess, oh, that I have to get muscle somehow. And I wanted to make the varsity team. So I lifted in my first meet. I squatted around 505 and I deadlifted about 554. But those other guys didn't concentrate in the squat or the deadlift. Their thing was a bench. I can bench this. But they opened up with like 350 on the squat. I opened up with 505. And I ended up with about 550. And I deadlifted about I squatted more than I deadlifted. I don't know why. So I was used to lifting against the men, not other teenagers like you guys are experiencing. That never happened with me, and I did it because of the money. And the guy that was very inspirational in my life was Bill Knapp. He was a power lifter, arm worker, and he was quite an inspiration to me.
Awesome.
I went on to college, but before I went to college, I entered the nationals as a senior in high school. I was a super senior this summer. That was in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I took third place, and I was the only, teenager in the meet. And I lifted against national champions Tony Fratto, Guy Borelli, Jimmy Witt. Jimmy Witt was 62 years old, and I lifted against him. He was from Texas, and he was something else. He didn't place. He placed about eighth, but he was there. He was there doing it at 62.
That's
But
awesome.
what struck me crazy about that meet was Bobby Hoffman. Bob Hoffman, the owner of York Barbell, at 91 years old, was a head ref in that meet. And he had a stand up. He had a table where he sold Bob Hoffman powder, and he had a table where he sold weights, and he had some the infancy of weight machines. And we were all kind of laughing, but he was there, 91 years old,
That's
roughing a
awesome.
meet. That's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And my college years.
We'll get to that in a second, Coach. I
Okay,
want to talk to you about York Barbell. As a matter of fact, glad you mentioned it. It's in York, Pennsylvania, not very far from where you grew up, right?
right?
Okay. Um, it has the moniker of Muscletown, USA. I don't know if
Yeah,
you're all right. So, and you mentioned Bob Huffman. So, for our listeners, you already told us that he was the owner and founder of York Barbell. It's not as big of a brand as it is, today as
is
it
it
used to be.
is it still in existence?
It still is in
Oh,
existence, and there's
God,
a
good.
couple
That's
things
good.
that I'm curious of, because you got to go back to those times, and he was developing. You mentioned his like Huffman powder or whatever.
Yeah,
He was one of the pioneers of supplements for the exercise fitness industry. I found that out, and you mentioned that they were developing exercise equipment, but yeah, nutritional supplements was one of his big things. And the York Barbell Club was a big supporter and developer of Olympic weightlifting in the USA.
really.
I mean,
Yeah,
they were huge.
absolutely.
They were, and the USA during that time was one of the top Olympic lifting countries in the world. So, um, did you compete against guys that lifted for York Barbell Club? Did they
Oh
ever
God,
ask
yes,
you to lift?
yes, yes, all the time. They're on the juice, and these guys were fanatics. They're like, and 34 years of age is the age where the male is his strongest,
Yeah,
and they were all right there. And I was just a kid. They'd make fun of me and stuff. But that's expected.
yeah,
You're just a kid. You're with all these guys, and uh, we didn't have those tight suits or anything like that back then. They didn't make them.
Okay. So it was
You know,
more
they
like
just
wrestling singlets and stuff like that, or
well, yeah, I had a wrestling singlet because I was a wrestler. I just stole it from my school and used it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, I understand that. All right, awesome. All right, we're gonna kick
Yeah,
the next one to Coach Whitaker.
yeah, and then even that Bill Knapp you brought up, I feel like because we're as big followers of Louis Simmons and Westside, and I feel like I've heard that name
yeah,
come up in some of his stuff because Louis is like always talking about this guy and that guy, and even in this book here, like kind of people have like names, like their name is like a section where and he talks about that, and I'm sure you had talked about Bill Huffman in here too, or Bob
Bobby.
Huffman. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but I feel like I've heard that before. Like,
but
was
Joe
he
Weir,
connected to
you heard of
Westside?
him, right?
Well, and the other thing for our listeners out there, and maybe you two don't know it, but the York Barbell Club has a lifting hall of fame located on the premises of their company. And so it's quite a grand thing. I looked it up online, and they honor Olympic lifting and powerlifting throughout the history of the United States. And so they got a really nice building associated with their facilities that houses pictures and videos and awards of people that performed at the highest level. So I didn't even know that existed until I was doing some research.
You know, Bob Hoffman did it
Yeah,
right. Everything he did was right. He didn't like Joe Weider, though. You know, Joe
right.
Weider, California boy.
Yeah.
They kind of
East
bucked
side,
heads a
west side,
lot.
or west coast, east coast. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Uh,
didn't care for Weider. I didn't either. I thought he was a pretty boy. I didn't like him.
So moving to Millington, right? You started weightlifting in Millington when you were assistant football coach in the early 1970s.
Well, I'd like to cover Northern Michigan
okay, sure.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
briefly.
yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Northern Michigan University at that time was 14,000 students. We were Division 1A. We played Central, Akron, North Texas State, Southern Illinois, Youngstown, even North Dakota State. And we beat them one time. Our quarterback was Lloyd Carr. You ever hear of him?
Oh,
Just a
yeah.
couple times.
Okay. And I was there with Tom Izzo. He was on the same hall I was at, Grace Hall. He was there.
Nice.
Tommy Mariucci, Steve Mariucci was there. And another guy by the name of Howard Schultz. Do you know him?
Can't say I do. Tell us about it.
He's the CEO of Starbucks Coffee.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was there.
That's
He
when
was
he
a,
was a student there? Because Northern Michigan was the very first college campus to have a Starbucks on it. And I knew it was because the founder went there, but I didn't know who it was.
is Howard. Howard wanted to be a quarterback. He got in a conflict with McCarthy, this other kid from Ironwood or Iron Mountain, I don't know, Iron something. And they made him a receiver, and Howard quit.
But
He
he
was,
created a coffee conglomerate, man.
yeah, he was headstrong. So that we didn't have any weights. We had one of those stupid universal machines. And I started the Northern Michigan Weightlifting Club, where I'd be in a bar and I'd say, "Hey, you want to join? Yeah, give me $20. Yeah, okay. You're in forever." But we did buy a York barbell set because
Nice.
we didn't have any free weights. And we started lifting. And eventually that grew up there. And the Northern Michigan coaches were totally against weightlifting. "Oh,
Okay.
don't do it. No. It was 1967, and they, oh, we were undefeated that year in football.
Yeah.
We kicked Central's ass. We just beat their ass severely. We beat them for all 4 years that I played.
Nice.
Youngstown thought they were tough, and well, we kicked their ass also. We were pretty tough back then. Now we
Yeah.
can't beat anybody, and we have
Yeah.
a dome. We have a beautiful dome,
Yeah, it is. It's pretty
unbelievable.
sweet. Yeah, I mean, you went to school probably, arguably, in northern Michigan's heyday in the late
Yes, I
60s
did.
into the 70s, because they were a powerhouse, and
1975 with Steve Mariucci as senior quarterback. We were national champions, Division Two. We started going into Division Two at around 1971. But
okay.
we played anybody. We played North Texas State. Joe Green played and beat our ass severely. We lost. He knocked two of our kids out. That I got to play because that guy got knocked out. I'd play anywhere.
Coach,
I
he's
wasn't a
name
star. I
dropping
just
some really
just
famous people.
put me on
He
the
might
field.
know
Play.
more famous people than anyone we've had on the show yet.
I can't
Well,
wait
I'll
till he
tell you
starts
what.
listing off professional wrestlers. I'm going to tell you.
I'll tell you. You know. I'll tell you. Give you a professional name. Sharon Stone. You ever hear of her?
Yeah,
Once or twice, yeah. Yeah,
She's from Meadville.
yeah.
she's from Meadville.
Sharon Stone's from Meadville, and she used to drink at my dad's bar. Carl. Carl Stone would drink at my dad's bar and have Sharon on his knee. She was younger than me,
Okay, awesome.
but she was still very beautiful back then and still is.
Yeah,
Okay, moving along. Now that I covered Lloyd Carr and all those people.
yeah.
Moving along to Millington.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're gonna move along here. I was a coach at Gwynn. I was head wrestling coach for 2 years. They cut everybody back because of the Air Force Base. They cut everything back 50%, so they cut the teachers back. So I ended up in a town called Millington
Okay.
in 1972. I'll give you a crazy story if you want to hear it. I go into the gym. There's nothing there. There's one of those gyms with a gym and a stage in one room. It's really kind of hokey. I wasn't used to it. I was from a double A school in Pennsylvania. Our graduation class is like 400 kids. So I wasn't used to this. So I developed a makeshift weight room so I could train. I wanted to train. So uh, I had a York barbell set I bought because the Chevy dealership bought it for me. And it wasn't enough weight, so I would weigh two kids that weighed about 170 pounds apiece, and I'd have them lean over the bar and bench press them. And they went and told their parents, and their parents came to the school and said, "This guy's doing this. Our kid's gonna get hurt?" And principal goes, "I don't know." And so they, excuse me, they had me put on a small assembly. And all of the people who showed up, there were about, I don't know, 50 to 100. They wanted to see me do that. They goes, "We want to see that." So I was on the stage now, and I had a bench press there, makeshift bench, and I benched the two kids. And they all got up and screamed and yelled and clapped.
And then the
Oh,
legend was born. It started right there. Oh,
yeah.
that's a good story.
Well,
That is
that's weird,
really good.
but Millington, when I was there, Chris, you were just a pup.
Hmm.
You were a gleam in your dad's eye, just a young pup.
Yeah, the year you got there's the year I was born. So
Jesus. I'm lucky I'm alive. I'm the only one alive anymore that knows the stories. Anyway, we had split sessions. I don't know if you guys know what that means. Split sessions. We had two groups of people going to school in the same building, starting at 6 in the morning and ending up at 11:15. And then the other shift came in 6 through 8. We had pay to play. We had no busing for athletics. Nothing. They want to cut athletics out. to pass the millage. So that's where I got myself in a bit of trouble. I had a master's in administration and I knew school law. So I went to the boosters and I said, hey, man, I said, do you know what sports is costing Millington community? How much money? No, about 1.5% of our budget. And they're penalizing all these kids. Do something about it. So they went to the board and threatened them. And the board goes, oh, we didn't, well, hey, and they stopped pay to play. But they blamed me for that conflict. Say, Chris, you know how this is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they would always badger me and stuff. And they didn't
So,
like me having a master's degree in administration either. They didn't like that.
sure. Well, back when you started the training program, like what can you share with us a little bit of like what were the things you were having the kids do? Because you're introducing weight training, obviously it's brand new to them. So what was the basis of your training program? How'd you get
Want
the
to
kids
hear it?
interested?
2 words. Want to hear it? Easy peasy. That's it. I was a fanatic about physical fitness. I tested every kid constantly. How many pull-ups can you do? What can you do here? I picked out the freaks. Nice kids, but uh, you can stop at 45 pull-ups. Okay, okay, that's good. You're way up in the percentiles. And that's the freak I went after. I goes, hey man, you ever think about weightlifting? What's that? "Well, you can do it during school, no practice." That's where I got them. Because they were kids, troubled kids, broken families, whatever. Didn't matter. But they were freaks. And I knew it. And I had one kid, Vern Foley, worked on a farm. I goes, hey, Vern, can you make it to the state meet? Well, I don't know, coach. I got to milk the cows. I said, we'll work around that. Weigh in at 9 o'clock. I can't make that. Weigh in's at 10 o'clock. No. All right, we start at 10:30. I'll weigh in. Oh, okay. He came in, deadlifted 132-pound weight class at 480, squatted shit 420, benched about 220. He's a freak.
Good.
And he's scary looking. Veins are popping out everywhere. But he liked wrestling. He played football too, but he liked wrestling. And he beat a guy who plays at state his first year of wrestling. He just outlasted him. He never got tired. He was a total genetic freak. And that's what I decided.
Right.
I want those people. Yeah, well, you can get these fat kids, make them skinny, make them a chick, but they don't have the
Well,
natural strength.
yeah, those kids sounds like they had the it factor in
I
your
was
company.
always after them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who to go with.
So,
And that's it. They go, well, how's he do it all? Yeah, I got the freaks, man, and the
so
female freaks too.
so you became the head football coach in 1978, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So I know there's articles about your weight training program in Bigger, Faster, Stronger, like BFS, for
Yeah,
our listeners that could be familiar with it or not. I know I started BFS when I first became a football coach. That was part of our training program. Yeah, there we go. So,
yeah. Well, I
um,
wasn't impressed with these guys. You know why? They're bouncing the weight off their chest with
sure.
sponges and shit. I don't like that stuff. And we lifted paws,
Yeah.
uh, and we took this grip. We never wrapped the thumb. We always had this grip because it's
Okay.
in line with the ulna. See, it's
Okay.
in line. It balances better. So I insisted on this grip right here.
Yeah.
And all my guys did that. And there's a lot of science or tricks to weightlifting, inertia on the squat. Give that little bounce at the end. You go low, but you bounce it, and that gives you inertia to push it up. See, I had all those tricks through these weasels that I had to lift against when I was a kid. I didn't ever like any of them. They taught me all the tricks.
Well, yeah, you learn from people, that's for sure. Sometimes you learn what not to do. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Show that again,
well,
Coach. Show that again. I don't know if Coach Whitaker saw
that's one of the bigger, faster, stronger guys. I didn't like him.
that. All right.
Look at
Now,
me.
did
Yeah.
you use their like rep and set system? The way they
Hell
walk?
no, no,
No?
I never used anything from them. I wasn't impressed with them at all
Okay, gotcha.
because they had all the little tricks. The wrap here. No, I'm going to wrap my elbow too. Hey, wait a minute. I'm going to have a suit that's so tight I can't even move. And if that's not enough, I got a bench shirt that I can barely touch my chest with.
Right.
We didn't use any of that.
Okay, I got
We
you.
were just we had no money.
But you guys were mentioned in their magazine, their publication, a few times while you were the weightlifting and football coach.
Yeah, well, they
So,
wanted the shine of us taking the nationals. They wanted,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
hey, we're a part of that. Not really, but what do I care? It's just good for my kids, you know.
Yeah, great article there. You can find that one online too, Coach Whitaker.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was good for a high school coach that didn't know what he was doing. But I'm not bragging. I was lifting weights when I was 16 years old, man. I 15, and no one else is doing it. So
Gotcha. Well, we're going to let Coach Whitaker, he's going to talk to you. He's going to ask you about some of your male lifters and, what you can recall about them. So
So
let's have some of that conversation.
in the research and preparation for this, discovered that you had a bunch of national record setters. So we got about five. We have 4 names on this list, and I'll just ask them to you one at a time, and you
sure.
can tell us about them. The first name we have on this list was Jeff Graham. Jeff Graham, 410 pounds. We found that was the med a squat, maybe a lightweight squat or a deadlift.
Well, coach, you got to get it straight. It's Jeff the Bodygram.
All
And
right.
his birthday, I put the same thing for his birthday. Every woman's dream, every man's nightmare, Jeff the Bodygram. I put that, and he loves it. And everybody else in Millington love it too. Jeff the Body. Go ahead.
Jeff,
So the 410 that he said that he lifted, we couldn't find if that was a squat or a deadlift. Uh,
Deadlift,
Deadlift. How big was
yes.
Jeff the Body Graham?
2. He might have lifted 120. What was it back then? 123.
Yeah.
Might have did it 123.
Not a big guy, but with a big deadlift there. That's awesome.
Every
I
woman's
love the
dream.
body. Again, I'm a wrestling fan, so like Jesse the Body Ventura immediately comes in.
Jesse the Body Ventura, governor of Minnesota, is personally my hero.
All right.
Every time he comes on, he goes, "Trump's a coward." Arr. I like that. He is the original, the Body.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
Rick Flair's from Minnesota too, but he's a pussy. He's like, yeah. Let's move on before I get myself in trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
How about Wayne? I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong. Dechin.
Decent. Okay.
480-pound deadlift, national record deadlift.
Oh yeah, that was his thing. His knuckles dragged on the cement when he walked around, but he did it.
He had some long arms, did he?
He had long arms. Kind of like me. I have very long arms.
What was his body weight? How much did he weigh?
Oh boy, I think he's around. I think his body weighs 165. I'm going to send you a list of every national champion I got.
Nice.
I'm going to send you what I have.
Yeah, for sure. That's
I'm
awesome.
going to send it all to you, and I'm
Appreciate it.
sending you, Chris, all these articles.
Sweet. I love it.
keep those. We'll scan them and put them into our archives and all
Even
that.
have.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Now, gentlemen, you got to remember, I'm pushing 80. The ruler of my life is coming to an end. So, hurry up and catch this stuff while you can, because I'm the only one alive in the Flint area
That's
that
right.
knows this stuff.
You are. Yeah. But you know what? Like you said, you're not going away. So I think you're probably going to outlive maybe Coach Whitaker and myself too, because
Now,
you
Chris, like I told you earlier, I could become a rash on your body. It's incurable.
incurable. I love it. Let's talk about a couple more of your boys.
Bring it.
Yeah.
All right.
Joe Sayring, 500-pound squat, national record.
Joe Soaring.
Soaring.
Joe
Soaring.
Soaring.
Okay.
I'll send you his name, and he's a good lifter. He wanted to lift more than play football. No. That I'll tell you in a later story coming up why I got out of powerlifting.
Okay. Nice.
And then the last name we got here is Mike Dronko.
Oh, yeah, the Tronks. They're both in that bigger, faster, stronger.
Yep. So they're
article.
both the same age?
Yeah. But they weren't the dogs. The dogs I had was Neely, Reinert, Brad Sales, these guys. Reinert should have been on the Olympic team.
Tell us
They
about
offered him, they said, look, who is this? I was on Olympic search. Who is this kid? Him and Neely. Neely deadlifted, I believe, 405 at 114. And he lifted for Bill Stiff. So did Reiner. They went to Buffalo, Chicago, Stiff wanted me to lift for him, but I said, well, hi, coach. I teach. I'm not going down to Fenton every night and train. Are you out of your mind? I'm not doing that. I have a family. But those two kids, he said, what, you want to go to Chicago? Yeah. I'll outfit you in a suit, get the shoes, the whole deal. You even have a belt with your name on it. Yeah, okay. Bill Stiff had a gym in Fenton,
Yep, Stiff's gym.
and he had a big time team.
Awesome.
Reinert should have went in the Olympics. Reinert had the lifts and the body to do it, and he was a freak. He's about 5'2", about 132. He wouldn't train, but if he ever did, he would have easily placed, I believe this, in the Olympics. Not in powerlifting, in the clean and jerk, snatch, press. He would have. He was a freak, and so would Neely. Neely was a total freak. And they wanted them bad because they didn't have anybody that strong.
Right. Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean,
They told me.
there's people that have that it factor. It sounds like those two did. And Bill Stiff recognized that.
No, Stiff loved them.
Yeah, I bet.
He did.
Well, you mentioned some of those. I want to talk about some of the female lifters because, back then weren't necessarily a lot of females doing the sport, but you coached a lot of successful females during your time. So, like, I found in researching that 1983 is when women's teams started competing as part of the state meet. Okay.
We had him. We had him in our state beat.
Yeah, then that's the one that I'm referring to. So in the 1983 state meet, how many schools do you recall like having powerlifting teams of girls at that time?
Not many. The main guy was Lloyd Kuhn of Flint. He just dealt with girls. I dealt with girls. I'm not, I'm liberal.
You're a
I
football
want them
coach.
to
We
be
understand.
successful.
We understand. You're a football coach.
But they didn't play football. I had one girl try to play football, and I said, oh, God, what a nightmare. Anyway, it didn't work out. I wasn't mean to her or anything like that, but
Yeah.
this is one. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll send this to you.
It's a big article.
Yeah, she's big time. She broke 2 national records, man. And I
Okay.
wonder if one of them still exists.
And what's this young lady's name? At that time, she's a young lady.
Michelle Parkinson.
Michelle Parkinson, coach. We'll have to do some research, but I did find that at a national meet, she was named best lifter.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
and
was
she
there.
had a 292 squat, a 126 bench press, and a 314 deadlift. And she wasn't a very big girl, was she?
132.
132. So, all right. Yeah, those are pretty good numbers. Even nowadays, with how much things have changed, those are solid numbers for somebody that size. Another girl, Nancy Petzold, or
Nancy Petzel.
mhm. What do you remember
And
about her?
she was after, she wanted me to go the meets, and I wasn't, because I was losing athletes. Powerlifting. It was upsetting me. And I was head football coach, head wrestling coach, and I ran the state meet. I was a busy guy, and I had 3 kids.
Yeah,
My wife said, "Hey, you're going to make this function with our kids? You're going to go to this baseball game?" And, I said, "Yeah, I'm going to. I don't want my family's more important."
yeah, I understand that.
And that
What do
brings me to this.
Yeah, let's see this.
See that?
Yep.
That's called the Millington Strongman. That's the next phase.
Okay.
And I invited only football teams to compete against each other. We had a 40-yard dash. So kind of like the combine, the shuttle run, bench, squat, deadlift, but we had speed incorporated into that. And then I developed that.
So you transitioned into that from the powerlifting
Yes.
because, one, your family's growing, your kids are getting more involved in activities. So, you got to give something up. I think all of us can understand and relate that. So, at what point in time was that you decided I'm done with powerlifting?
90s,
Early 90s?
early 90s,
Okay.
because it pissed me off
Yeah, I
that
got you.
I was losing like dogs, big time athletes soaring, all that. I goes, "Hey, man, you going to come out?" He goes, "No, I don't know. It's interfering with my training." I said, "Well, Jesus." I said, "The whole idea that I'm doing this, Joe, is because we want to win in football."
Yeah, I think,
You know,
Coach Whitaker, like you could probably relate, but in a conversation before this interview, I talked to Tim, and basically like started it as just a way to keep his football players getting stronger in the off season. Sounds like a recurring thing that a lot of coaches still do in our association.
Mm-hmm.
But the timeline was different because you were also the wrestling coach, right? So the
yeah.
powerlifting and wrestling, they kind of conflict, or did they not conflict when you were coaching?
No, no, I had weightlifting during the day.
Okay.
See, we didn't practice it. I had all these freaks in my classes. And I'd say, "Well, what are you doing?" "I'm going to try a 450 deadlift." I said, "Well, I think you do better than that." Well, you know, we didn't have to. These kids were rebels. David Neely worked at a party store. And I said, "The Colorado Springs is calling me, Dave. When you graduate, they want you to go out there." And he goes, "Well, I got a girlfriend and I got a job at the party store."
And that would be the location of the Olympic training headquarters.
Absolutely.
To. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, "They're going to provide everything for you. This is your future. Please, please." No, I
Right.
didn't do it. Neither did Reiner. I mean, those guys had it. And they had the speed for the Olympic list. You have to have speed and balance. They had it. Hell,
Yeah.
Reiner clinged and jerked. I think he 275 and put it up
That's
at
great.
132.
That's awesome.
I picked Jesus. I took a picture of him, and not a video because we didn't have it back then. And the Olympic people came and they goes, well, what's the matter with this kid? I guess he had different interests.
Sure. Coach Whitaker, you want to get on to number 5 there?
All right. So, as you're kind of alluding to here, a lot of your athletes were part of the Olympic search.
Oh yeah.
To use the, explain what this organization was for and what the experience was like.
Olympic search was strictly trying to find weightlifters, Olympic weightlifters, male, female, anything. I had 1 year to get the free barbell set, the 405-pound set. If you had a lot of participants, you got the set. So, as a requirement in phys ed, you had to lift in the meet. The girls would lift an empty bar, and some of the guys, they did quite a bit of weight, and they were impressed, and they sent me the set free. Yeah, every year I got that free set.
Built the weight room.
Built the weight room of free sets.
They practice using those weights there, Coach. You never know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the meet that was held primarily focused on the clean and jerk.
Clean and jerk.
Okay.
They eliminated the press, because of course the Russians are cheating like they always do in everything, and everything they do, they blood dope, whatever, and they eliminated it. They said it was too dangerous, and I goes, yeah, okay. The snatch is very hard to do, guys. You ever do a snatch? It's hard. I got bad shoulders. I blew mine out on a kickoff in Central Mount Pleasant. I was screaming down the field, and I hit this guy, and I go, oh, hey, wait, my shoulder's out of place. Anyway, one thing I do want to cover, the platforms.
Bars chalked up, clocks counting down. Another early morning in a small town gym right now. Steel on sleeves, heart in your hands. Every rep, every meet, building Michigan's strongest plans. Welcome to the platform, where the stories weigh a ton. Squat, bench, dead, we rise as one. Michigan's lifters, this is our home. Turn it up, feel that fold. This is the platform. Bus rides, late nights, singles in the duffel bag. White lights, red lights, every call, every flag. From the first warm up to that last grind set. We talk chalk, talk nerves, talk the best you haven't met yet. Welcome to the platform, where the stories weigh a ton. Squat, bench, dead, we rise as one. Michigan's lifters, this is our home. Turn it up, feel that fold. This is the platform. From the UP down to the lakeshore, every rock's a little more war. But you're never walking in alone. You've got a crew in your head for. Welcome to the platform.